I grew up with boys, and I never got interested in dressing up and buying of stuff to dress. Anyway, my mother would not allow that because we were seven and she didn't want the whole house to be put into disarray. So she used to open the cupboards herself, decide what things we would dress up with, and take it out for us. So I never got a choice really until I was probably near time to go to university, and one day she gave me money to buy a dress in a shop, and my choice was probably pretty poor in her eyes, and so she never gave me a second chance. I went to university, and all I was concerned about was just dressing for the comfort, and I was not interested in any other thing. And when I went to Nigeria, I didn't know how to dress, and I felt to recognize that dressing was part of a very sophisticated code, a language, in fact, in itself. So my husband bought me my first dress. He went to the tailor and told him what he wanted, chose the material, and I got that dress, and it was just a small dress that went to the knees. It was white with roses, pink and red roses. It was beautiful, but very, very simple. It was sleeveless. And I went to class with it, and my students were confused because they were not too sure I was a lecturer. As the lecturers, the women used to dress gorgeously with elaborated patterns of dress and very expensive material. So, and then after that, I started observing women, how they dressed. And usually in Igbo land you have a top that is usually white, made of lace, and two wrappers. The first one going onto the ankles and wrapped around and attached with a knot by the side, and then a second wrapper that was covering the first one up to the knees, and used sometimes, for example, if it rains, all of a sudden, yeah, you can remove it and use it as a covering, or if you feel cold, it becomes like a shawl. It was quite handy. The problem I had with that was that I didn't know how to walk with a wrapper. I thought, women invited me, women from the Christian Fellowship. One woman that was like a mentor, Mrs. Igwe, taught me how to wrap around my wrapper. You put your feet apart, you wrap it, and then you put your feet back into place, and it normally allows you to walk easily. But it didn't work like that with me. I was used to making gigantic strides, and my wrapper started, being tighter and tighter around my legs. And I ended up being just like squeezed and imprisoned. So I was not too keen on using that, and my husband said, it doesn't matter, does it? It's not the wrapper that makes you an Igbo woman. So I only used wrappers once a year during Modern Sunday, where everybody was dressing with the uniform, mpuroka, that's a type of pattern in of material, and white blouse, and then you go to church with it. So that day, I used the wrapper, but I also went once to a funeral in the family, and we were all in uniform, so I had to use it. But apart from that, I never wore a wrapper. I had wrappers, all right, but it was not my normal thing. And what I've observed is that, you see, there is no need. What you cover yourself with doesn't say who you are. Although many people in Nigeria believe the opposite. So for example, if you walk with a trouser, then those days you were considered as a kind of prostitute. If you wear a simple dress, too simple, then you are considered as a servant, because everything you wear has a meaning. Meaning is read into the shoes, the type of shoes or tongues you use, or different things have all meanings. Even the way girls made their hair had a meaning. So it was a language in itself, and I found it difficult to go along. I never wore a trouser for 25 years there because I was very keenly aware of the possible meaning on campus then. Of course, now things have changed. You go to the campus of Unilag in Lagos and all the girls are in jeans. This was not the case then. And also we are in a rural area. So there were things like that. And you find that the way you wear has nothing to do with what you want to say. And there was a woman we called Mama John Bull, and she was always in wrapper. And I used to admire her and wonder how she was so comfortable seemingly with it. And then one day I heard that she left her home while the husband was away. I don't know what went on in that couple. She had just a son, and she just ran away and came back to Britain. She was British. And I was shocked, and I always remembered that lady that I thought was seemingly adjusted and integrated and happy in Igbo land. And then all of a sudden, in spite of wrapper, she left. So that is something I learned and unlearned, that first of all, what you wear is not a guarantee. You may wear what everybody around you is wearing. It doesn't mean that you are adjusted because of that. It's just a facade, a covering. It could mean good, but not necessarily. Secondly, what is most important is the way you behave, the way you portray yourself daily, not when people are watching you, but globally. The issue of learning the language was something else, because language is something that envelopes you like a dress. And I understood the language very quickly. The problem I had was it's a tonal language, and I used to speak and people would laugh, and it was quite discouraging. So I tried to not to speak with grown-ups. I could speak with children, with old people that were more merciful. So